Hey, guys, we are offering brand new shirts with some funny sayings on them. If you guys have any other sayings from Joe, Alex, me, put them in the comments. These are from Rogues Apparel. If you want to support our show and an independent artist at the same time, pick up one of these shirts now by clicking that link below. And honestly, the bad movies keep rolling in. I had to do this review. I watched this at 2 in the morning last night, and I was like, no, everybody, hands on deck. We're doing a review. We're telling everybody how awful this film is. It's worse than Coming to America. It's probably the worst film of 2021. It's probably the worst film of 2020. So I had to do a review. Check it out. Hopefully you enjoy. This movie is a big old bag of poop. It is cosmic poop, not cosmic sin.
Well,
Guys,
it is a sin.
Welcome to the
Angry.
This is a sin. I just made this review to tell you guys, do not make the mistake that I did, and waste your time or your money or your gas, Joe,
Sure.
watching this film. Look, I like Bruce Willis and I like sci-fi. But this was just way too much crap. Just pure shit. And this is kind of what the Angry Joe show was formed for, so we can save you money, save you from these kinds of things. It was late one night, and I said, you know what? I want to watch some sci-fi. I want to watch some good. So I was just going through stuff, and I happened to come across Cosmic Sin. I remember, wait a minute, I saw the trailer. And I was like, there was space aliens. There was fighting back first. There was fucking space battles in the trailer. And I go, you know what? It looks a little lower budget, but maybe it'll be good because like individual shots. Then I was looking. I was on horror websites that sometimes do sci-fi stuff. Some of the stills from the film look good when they're stills, right? In the armor, I'm like, what is this? What is this? Is it futuristic apocalypse? You know, remember the film that he did with Michael Bay with the fucking rock in this Armageddon, not apocalypse. Armageddon. just shut up. Just shut up, Ben. But this was just really, really bad. Let me break it down like this. Have you ever wanted to see Bruce Willis cosplay with some kids in the middle of a forest?
And not give a fuck about anything?
Well, then this is the film for you. Because it's right up your alley if that's what you're looking for. This film, if I can call it that, is a freaking embarrassment, to Bruce Willis. He must have owed somebody some money or something to be in this essentially amateur film. And maybe it wouldn't be so, because I like making movies. Remember when we were young,
Yes.
Joe? This is like a movie I would make when I was 13. But this is the movie that I made when I was 13 in the sense that like when I was 13, I could write better dialogue than this dialogue. That's what this film was. It's like some 13-year-old wrote the ideas down, first drafted on the script, and then put it into production immediately. And it wouldn't be so bad if maybe it was running on passion alone, but the dialogue is so damn bad with bangers like, "How are you doing, youngster? No lying down on the job, killer. How are you holding up, soldier?
How's your morning been?"
Was that a line?
Yeah, it was.
Guys, like I said, if I wrote this film when I was 13 and I was given a big budget, and it would have actually happened, it would have been better than this. Unfortunately, this was crap. What did you guys think?
Quick summary about this movie.
Yeah.
What
is it about?
So it takes place in the future. Everyone is living in Mars. We've colonized Mars. So we go into this mining, and then all of a sudden, these ghosts come out, and it's Ghosts of Mars.
What? No, that's not at all. What are you trying to... The Ghosts of Mars, Joe? That film... Stop bringing up that film. That film is awful. What was it? LL Cool... No, it was Ice-T.
Ice Cube, baby.
Ice Cube, not Ice-T, LL.
Okay. No, then I watched the wrong movie.
No, you dead wrong. Joe, did you watch the movie that I forced you to watch?
No,
this is payback, Joe, for your bad movies. This was fucking horrible.
I'd rather watch one of his movies.
Exactly.
Yes, me too.
Yes, I would rather watch a bad movie because this had nothing. Like, even my bad movies, it's like, okay, there's some like little funny parts.
No, there was some fun. Jiu-Jitsu was fun.
Yeah, this
compared to
was
this.
terrible. His acting, Bruce Willis's acting was just like phoned in. He obviously was.
I had to look up his age while I was watching this because the first thing they do is make him look like a badass in the bar and start, being a bar fight. He's 65 years old.
None of these scenes,
and he looks good. He still looks good. Getting little white hairs, obviously. Obviously has had white hairs for a while now because he's 65 years old. But they could film it in a way where he's still this role could still work.
Yeah, but nothing about this.
No,
the story was terrible. This was a forgettable movie.
No,
nothing memorable about it.
I'm of the opinion that all films are art, except for what Edward Drake thinks. This is the opposite of art, right? Edward Drake is the writer and director of this movie.
Okay, I've never heard of him before.
It is not good. Everything here is not good. The writing, the shots. I kind of like the costumes sometimes, but then there were times where you see him in the light, and it's like this looks so incredibly cheap.
From a distance, they look good.
The acting, the story, the weird cuts, the blurry screens. I did like some of the after effects that they did. I'm looking for positives because
there was some good. There was some CGI here and there.
There was some really cool ones with a lot of space debris and they're flying through. It was like, this is really cool.
That's what got me in the trailer to watch this fucking thing on Amazon. Fuck!
But
I tried to do what Joe did. I tried to find all the little, sci-fi things, and I watched this and I was like, oh my god! Cheap sets, the bathing everybody in blue and orange light to try to hide, and then fogs to try to hide everything. It's like, why are all these independent sci-fis or low-budget sci-fi films made in a goddamn industrial, that same kind of set with pipes? If there's a pipes, this guy's gonna go over.
It was just so poorly planned out, and you could tell it was super poorly planned out because it takes place in the year 25, and I don't give a shit. It's 2500 and something,
25,
right?
24.
Frank Grillo is driving a 1980s truck, and everyone on the road is driving the cars from this age right now. So they didn't give a shit about the time frame or anything.
He was on a fucking highway and just came to a complete stop. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Frank? It's a highway.
But it's a scene that doesn't matter, right? But if you cared about the story and you cared about directing and having a cohesive movie, that wouldn't have been in there at all. And that just set the tone for everything that came afterwards, where the people who are behind the camera do not give a shit or do not have the aptitude, the skill to make something make sense. In 500 years from now, if there was a white panel van, one of those creepy, just driving on the road, would not exist.
Yeah. This is really cringy to watch, guys. There are really awkward scenes in this one that are just injected out of nowhere that have no context and no connection to anything else. And how much you want to bet? And I wrote this down because I was watching this at 2 a.m. and I was laying down with a girl. It was 2 a.m. and I had to whip out my phone and start taking notes. And I wrote this down. I said, how much you want to bet that the drinking buddy, because there's a drinking buddy character in the bar of Bruce Willis. I've never seen this guy before, and his acting is so atrocious. I said, how much you want to bet that the drinking buddy is like the producer who bankrolled the film so that he gets to be acting with Bruce Willis? That's what this felt like. And he has 2 awkward scenes in the film towards the end where the kid one, and right before that one was another awkward scene. He's like, Bruce, you want to split? I would never signed up for this. And Bruce was like, no. And he's like, okay, fuck it, let's not split. And then it goes to the
go, man.
And then it goes to the next scene where this little girl shows up out of nowhere when we're on this planet fighting aliens and shit, and they've never shown her before.
The inconsistency of this movie.
She just shows up out of nowhere, and so I thought, oh shit, they're gonna go somewhere cool with it. Where she's a fucking alien or something, because he's like, don't worry, everything is gonna be okay, little girl.
But she wasn't even in danger. She's just there laughing, having a good time. It's like, you're bothering her, man.
And that's all it is. Everything's gonna be okay with needless cuts. There's 3 cuts: camera angle here, camera angle here, camera angle here, as he tries to console this little girl, puts his hand on her, and it's so awkward. I felt like he knew that she was an alien and he would cut her or something. But no, it ends like it was supposed to be a cute scene, and you're like, wow, that drinking buddy is so awesome. What a great character. What a kind man.
And it's like farts. That's
he literally wrote that for himself. So then today, before this review, I went to go fucking look it up. The guy's name is Corey Large, and I went to his IMDb page, and he is not. He's the Corey Large, and look, all of his credits are producer credits. I was like, I fucking knew it. And he is the producer on Comic Sin and the film that he did with Bruce Willis before this called Breach. And I'm wondering, because this is Bruce Willis with Frank Grillo with no budget and just shit. And then the Breach is Bruce Willis with Thomas Jane, and I fucking love Thomas Jane. So now I feel like I have to see that one to see is it at least better than Cosmic Sin? Because this is utter cosmic shit. This film is fucking awful. Like, there's no redeeming qualities. Like, even the armor that you guys say you like, it is
from a distance.
From the front, it's okay. But then you take a look at it, it's all flimsy. And then they turn around. You remember my Mortal Kombat suit from when we were like 13, where it had the printed on the front, but if you turn around, it's all black? That's what it was like. There is literally the fucking armor has no fucking
how did
purpose.
that protect you in space?
The armor protects nothing. They often have huge holes in them, and then like they're like Halloween costumes where there's nothing in the back. Especially that sniper chick. When you see her costume from the back, you're like, what the fuck? Did they forget to make the costume? It's like they had a little bit of talent on the costume and the LED lights and things, but then they didn't want to transfer that to the sets.
Oh,
that's it.
Okay, we'll just make one.
Right,
the rest,
but
make
we
it cheaper.
we know, Joe, people who can make costumes at this level or even better, and fully form the costumes.
But that's
it's rushed.
Money. Yeah.
No, it's not even money. Like these costumes, they could have spent like a few more dollars and got it fully formed. It's just, it seems like you're right, Alex. It's like it's rushed and low budget and just put out, and I don't understand. And I got taken, so it was really, really bad.
Half of a bright spot is I like Frank Grillo movies. Those mindless action, they're never very good. They're all low, and he does a lot of them. He reminds remember like how there was like 14 sniper movies in the 80s? Like those are like not good action movies, but they're like guilty pleasures. You watch them, you'll put them on the background. Yeah. His movies are like that. Except for this one. This is one that I'm going to remove.
He disappears. So at the beginning, the film starts well enough. You got a bar, and he calls up, Bruce Willis's character because he's this blood general, did some war crimes. He dropped a Q bomb on a previous colony, and he wants him in his mission. And Frank Grillo has a son, of course. And you know what happens. If you got big name actors, it's not about Frank, it's not about Bruce, it's about the son character. And this guy is a terrible actor.
Didn't care about any of them.
Oh, which one? I'm sorry, which one are you talking about?
Frank Grillo.
It's like you said terrible actors. Like there's like 45 of them in this movie.
So they come together, they get their suits on, and okay, so it's just
Frank Grillo
really,
was also in jiu-jitsu.
Really bad.
And much like Nicolas Cage,
actually has more to do in that film than he does.
Do you think Bruce Willis is also just he has Nicolas Cage's agent, and they're just like
that's what I was thinking.
It's not
now it's Bruce Willis. You think
it's not even an agent. It's just something that hits yes. You submit a script and he goes yes, but money yes.
Okay, so we have to get into the plot. There's going to be some spoilers here because you
don't
need to know how you do not need to waste your money on this, okay? No. And at first I thought, $20, maybe I'll buy it so I can own it. I'm glad I never fucking hit that button because even $6 was too much. And you did six, and I did 6. That is way too much on this film. Yeah, so anyways. Okay, so the film opens with an outpost where it's like they're camping. It's like that's pretty much what it was. They must have been camping on a green screen, so they said, okay, let's do this as a colony and a little tent colony. So it's this Hispanic chick and this dude who was just like kissing, and they have some kind of relationship.
They're horny explorers.
They're horny, right? And she's like, no. And then he's like, what? And she's like, you think there's something out there? There's nothing out there. Let me show you. And then he just started firing his pulse rifle, and I'm like, well, I like the effect of the gun, but I don't like what he's doing. It makes no sense for him to shoot. There's nothing out there. And then he shoots, and then he hears noises, and he's like, oh, there is something out there. And then you hear gunfire in the background, and it cuts to the chick, and you're like, oh, no. And then she calls up command. He got shot. And it's like, wait, what? What do you mean he got shot? At no point did you see him get shot or anything. It could be an alien with claws, but no, he got shot, which doesn't make any sense. And then command is like, this is a very credible FC situation, a first contact situation. There must have been a misunderstanding. Now we're gonna be in a war, but they never fully fleshed that out that there is now a war.
Nothing in this is fleshed out.
Right? And then we go to the bar scene and we pick up Bruce Willis and we pick up all these generic characters and people who were walking, outside on the street that they pulled into the warehouse to be in the film. And then later when they go on the mission and they warp in because they put on these suits and the scientist chick knows how to warp them, across the universe. So they warp across the universe and they're flying on their suits and they go across a fucking space battle. I'm like, this is what I saw in the trailer. And it's cool, but they don't show you anything. You don't know who ships are who. So you just like, what the fuck is going on here? Is humanity fighting the aliens already? And it's like, no, there's Earth. In the forward, there's Earth and like 3 colonies, and one of the colonies was exploded by Earth because they dropped a Q-bomb, but then these other colonies were independent, and so these aliens are attacking one of the colonies. They just needed an excuse to go to the fucking forest. So they fall through the sky, they slammed into the forest in the back of their warehouse in California somewhere, and they're saved by a character with the most ridiculous sniper rifle I've ever seen in my life. It is basically just a huge fucking stick, a Barrett.
It's supposed to look like a Barrett, but it's 13 feet long.
With a cardboard box on the end to make it look like a 50 cal or a 75 cal. And though I do like this chick, I like her haircut, and I was like, oh, she's the cool, like the Gina Carano type of character, right? And I thought there was something about her, like she was tough and rough and tough. I thought she was a fighter because it looked like her ear had been punched a few times or something like that. Because the fighters have cauliflower ears sometimes. But so I thought she was fine. I mean, it's an interesting character. So they're like a resistance force of that planet, and they've been fighting the aliens. I'm like, all right, we're gonna see the aliens now. What do the aliens look like, Alex?
Well, before
Robin
that,
Hood.
they're like 13 light years away.
Oh, yeah.
Then you see in the background these people, these extras, that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Who the fuck is this?
So when the sniper chick
What's
shows
going
up, the
on?
camera pans up, and somebody typed, "Wait, you'll see some extras." And we looked for it. And they're actually not extras.
Yeah, they're part of the
They're
movie.
actually part of that planet, but they're wearing street clothes, like they just showed up from the mall.
But
or
nobody
something.
really says anything about them.
Right.
Really.
Well, no, he
So-
does. He does. There's a throwaway line where he
Barely.
says, "I'm escorting these people to the medical
Yes.
tent."
Yes,
So
he does.
It's a throwaway line. But
It is. You missed it, Joe.
missed
How
it, but-
dare you not pay attention to the film?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like,
Yeah.
this is
Anyway,
dumb.
so they
It's
finally
dumb.
fight the aliens. And who are these aliens?
The
Terrible.
aliens are us.
This is where they could have done something really fucking cool, but no, they're all in Robin Hood
Leather
like
hoods.
cloaks, so you can't see what
They're
they
hanging
look
off
like.
trees.
And
They're
they're-
edgy.
Yeah, and they're hanging. Did you see that? They're all like, "What's up? We're not gonna kill you now, but we might kill you later." And it's like, oh my god! And I got that feeling of D&D, like people who role play in the forest and stuff.
LARPing, yeah.
That is exactly.
You've never done any
That
LARPing?
was a LARPing, and they managed to get Bruce Willis into their fucking LARPing session.
That would be
It's
so cool.
It is so cringy to watch. I don't recommend
Lightning
you
bolt.
waste your money.
Lightning bolt.
I'll
Sleep.
show it to you.
Sleep.
Here. Anyways, so Bruce Willis, as they're flying through the space to get to this planet, by the way, they get separated. So you get our shitty characters, right? That's when the movie takes a turn where you got the son and the scientist and the shitty characters, and then Bruce and Frank Grillo get knocked out of the film, essentially. Frank, pretty much the whole film, he's left in space floating. And Bruce lands on a planet in a different spot. But I don't understand what the fuck happened with Bruce's character. Because there's aliens that surrounded him, and then they point over towards this cave, and then it goes to the next scene. And you're like, wait, what?
My theory, based on what was happened
Interpretation.
at the very end of the movie, is the aliens have like blood that can like take over your body, right?
Ghost
So
of Mars.
they take you over.
That's why
via-
you said that, Joe.
Yeah.
I couldn't make your Ghost of Mars connection.
This is basically what it was.
And so
At
they,
the beginning, we'll have to go back.
they grab Bruce Willis's ex-wife because there has to be an ex-wife character, right? And
Yeah.
so they grab her
That's so
ex-wife
stupid.
and they grab her, like that she is now part of them.
Yeah.
And they were going to make Bruce Willis one of them too because they can sense how smart and big these things are, and they don't want to just kill these people. They want to absorb them into like the hive mind type thing.
Yep.
But Frank Grillo's shitty son saves Bruce Willis before he can be assimilated and drags him out, and then that's what the movie happens.
Okay. That by then my eyes were glossed over. So Bruce Willis was pulled out of there by the son.
Before he got assimilated.
So going back to what Joe said, the connection to the bag of shit, to Ghost of Mars, which Ghost of Mars was better than this. Was that those colonists, that one lady who was trying to get her mojo on out in the campsite in the fucking colony, gets transported back to Earth, and they all fucking look like they're aliens.
Here is the thing that pissed me the fuck off.
And they got black eyes and they're fucking black veins and shit, and they're just like, yeah, come on over here, let's talk to you. Military base.
Worse is like, oh, they gotta get quarantined. Okay, you're passing by everyone, probably infecting everyone.
It was the stupidest shit in the world.
Boils everywhere. They look like they're fucking bleeding like black blood.
Not only that,
you're like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Well, they killed 2 people before anyone shot.
Yes.
The aliens, one of the dudes lifts a guy up and strangles him to death.
While the rest of them watch.
And then the chick is like putting acid inside one dude's face and melting his face off, and the guys are standing around
It's because the older scientist lady was like, no,
dumb.
We want to talk with them.
We gotta watch. It's like, watch what?
The fucking
his face is melting. No. Don't engage.
Don't engage.
Well, fuck you then. Go in there. I'm going to close the door.
I can't stand that films to do this. Like, if you want to have a low-budget film, that's fine, but don't fucking make it stupid as shit.
Writing is free. It just takes a pen and a paper.
Yeah. And just show your script to somebody else so that they can fucking revise it.
Yeah, it's like, this is military bitch. This doesn't make sense.
Anyway, so the infection spreads, but then they shoot in this base, and it's like the lowest budget fight scenes. Anytime you have a low budget fight scenes, you got to have barrels and you got to have cardboard boxes. So all of a sudden, it just goes to the aliens having guns, and then they're firing and we're firing.
The stupid scientists said another stupid thing. They're like, oh, they're super smart. They knew how to use our guns. They pulled the trigger. How hard was that?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, they're intelligent. They fucking pulled the trigger and knew what happened.
Right, and they're like parasites living in the humans, in their brains. It's this the dumbest fucking writing ever. Anyway, so the whole plot line is, let's get the blood general and let's attack them first because they attacked us and we have a misunderstanding.
And they know where we're at.
And it's either our culture versus their culture. So they teleport to this one planet. I guess they know that there's an orbital thing. They don't know that before they go there, which makes no fucking sense. What their original mission was just to use the Q-bomb.
You go to that planet because there is an alien ship at that planet. An alien ship... propulsion signature, in theory, could lead them back to their planet. And so again, there's
you were paying attention.
You made me watch this shit. I had to pay my own goddamn money. To watch this movie.
She threw up and she's like, "Oh, here's the ball.
Yeah.
Now they know where we're at."
And so it's like we're going to use their ship's radiation signature to find where their homeworld is,
to know where they're at,
and then we'll blow up their homeworld.
Okay, but when they go there, they realize, oh shit! Now they're building a gate so that they can bring their whole fucking fleet through a far gate. And to be perfectly honest, the ships in the gap, like, okay, this looks cool. They ain't never come through that gate.
No,
they never fucking come through that
budget,
gate.
Man.
They did exactly the Avengers whole scene. It's like, we'll throw the bomb through the thing and blow up the holes.
So then let's take this Q bomb and let's put it into, I don't know, probably a water processing plant, and they just shove it into something that is clearly not what it's designed for, and they shoot a cannon and shoot it through there. But what happens makes no goddamn sense because they're fighting, but first you have to defend this little orbital cannon from the aliens. So then we have our grand action scene where they're trying to be all dramatic, but really it's just people in like Robin Hood fucking trash bags and alien wires running towards them shooting. And then out of nowhere,
we get the best scene ever. There's this old man with long white hair comes out of nowhere.
Joe says this is the real hero of the film.
Comes out there and he died.
He died gloriously.
In the sequence, and he goes like this, and then he goes, and then falls over.
I don't know what all the fucking idiot colonists are doing when they're under attack. Everybody wants to come out of their cover to point the guns at the enemy.
The extras died.
Do these people come out of nowhere? There were the extras that they picked up from the mall earlier that day.
You want to make $10?
Yes. Yes, and it's
a Wetzel pretzel.
it's a damn shame because they could have
Sign
done.
me up.
Anyway, so then the main alien with the trash bag, but he has actual little Bane
Sauron.
tentacles.
Yeah, he's got the hands.
He's got the
metallic-
He's got the
He
glove.
does have the Sauron.
He's got
he
the
has
yes.
Sauron gloves
Yes.
and Bane mask.
Yeah.
With
It's like a
ridiculous
Cthulhu
eyes.
mask and a
Cthulhu.
weird hood. And
Metal
it's just
Cthulhu man.
They got into some studios' prop departments like, look, you can borrow 5 things. And they're like, cool.
put
That
it
one, that one,
together.
that one, that one, that one. And they're like, you get that thing back.
So then he brings out his wife, Bruce Willis's ex-wife, who was a scientist. They couldn't make their marriage work because Bruce was such a horrible, killer. And
He killed 70 million
He
people.
killed 70 million, and she's like, "Nah, I can't. You
And he'd
were
rather go
always
to
a better
baseball."
soldier than you were a husband." And but she's all like talking, and she I literally have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. The scientist talks like this googly gobbledygook nonsense dialogue, and then they charge wildly at the base. He's like, "Brr," and then they all charge the base in these cheap costumes, and we get scenes of people reloading weapons. What it is it with low budget sci-fi when there's a gunfight? It's just scenes of reloading weapons. It's to stay away from the action. It's like, let me reload my weapon. Every goddamn person in
So
there
yeah,
reloaded
then
their
the
weapon.
Martians have like those pulse rifles.
No,
So all you see is the extras going, oh, yeah. It's like, oh no, we're in trouble. It's like, I don't give a shit.
Okay, so then I literally have no idea. So then you have this like cutesy scientist chick who has literally no chemistry with anybody on set. Her Sarge in the beginning tells her, "Hey, don't go," and then he's, "I got an assignment," and she's like, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Oh." Okay, and then he dies, and it's like, and then she's supposed to have be affected by it, but you can't tell because she's a terrible actress. And then later on, she's supposed to develop a relationship with the son character, and they have no fucking chemistry.
They held
so there's
hands.
nothing. They held hands.
They had the most awkward, like, intimate scene in the bar ever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
OJ came in the room when I was still watching, and so I had to rewatch it. And so watching the awkward scene the second time, it's like, this is the weirdest thing ever.
like, what the
Their
fuck? I don't
kiss and like
understand.
her like touching his head,
It is-
but not in a loving way. It's more like,
It's almost as if like it was aliens or an AI that made this script and dialogue, and then they just filmed it. It's weird as hell. Anyways, so she has the rough decision of having to kill an entire alien civilization.
to commit a cosmic sin.
Yo, there it is. There's cosmic sin. They said it. They
said-
did the thing.
they said it
And
earlier.
so she presses the button, fires the thing, and at that point, Alex, I have no fucking idea what happens.
Oh, okay.
So the goddamn, they fire twice, right? So the first fire comes through.
Was the Q bomb?
Was the Q bomb, but they do this weird scene where it's like, well, they did this in Aquaman where the villain has to walk all cool on top of their ship or something, and then Aquaman joins them. So they felt the need to do that. So it's the scientist lady who's walking around on the top of her ship in the middle of space, and suddenly she's looking all more monsterish.
With a lot of product in her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
They
was
put
weird as fuck.
whiteout in her eyebrows for some reason.
And Bruce Willis just crawls up from under the ship because he held onto the ship and he went up with them. But he literally held on to the ship as it went into orbit or launched into space.
Yeah, but it's a magical spacesuit.
Anyways, so then he gets up there. And I have no fucking idea what happens.
You had this stupid dialogue
there's an-
between the husband and the wife that you don't really give a shit about.
right, but then there's an energy ball
Yeah,
or something.
She stops
She
the bomb.
stops the
and then so the bomb goes past her. She grabs it.
Yeah.
and
she stops.
she holds it there.
And then she holds it. That effect is her supposed to be holding the bomb?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck the effect was. I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Bruce does something, and then they both fly back.
The reason that you're confused is because they say nothing. Nothing
I have
happens
no
in the scene.
fucking idea
There
what
is an
happens.
orb. There's a bomb there, and he walks up and he says absolutely nothing. And then he steps forward, and then the orb disappears. I think there's supposed to be dialogue there.
Yeah.
And then
They fly off in different directions. She
she
going
goes
back
through
to Earth.
the wormhole. He flies back to the thing. The bomb goes through.
Well, no, a second shot from the orbital cannon happens at some point.
That's the one that shoots Frank Grillo
to destroy the
ring. So because if you only shoot the black hole thing into the wormhole,
then they will be killed by the
everyone will get
blowback.
killed. But so what Frank Grillo wants to do is he wants to use his suit as a bomb.
So Frank
and blow
Grillo,
up
who hasn't been in the film the whole time,
for 45 minutes, yeah, he's like, oh, by the way, I'm still alive, and we're
I'm
like,
still
what?
in space. Wait, what?
It's like you've been what? Okay,
My suit is fine. I have aft thrusters, but I can't come back to you. I gotta close the gate.
Yeah, I'm going to go blow up the gate. So they simultaneously blow up the gate, use the Q bomb, which makes a black hole, and then they do the whole Avengers thing. Like, literally, it's a scene from the Avengers, because instead of Iron Man falling back, it's Bruce Willis. You see this thing close. You see the whole fleet get blown up. And this is the best part of the movie, because they stole it from someone who is better than them.
Yeah, and the music, I gotta say, like
it's
during this
awkward.
climax, so awkward, so weird. I can
was
find
gonna
better
say that.
music in my YouTube audio library for free than what this film uses for its climax and the entire damn thing. And then after like that climax music, there's even worse fucking music.
The harmonica?
The harmonica.
It's so weird.
Yes, it's like,
It was
so-
as if somebody
what
who
is going
didn't know
on?
how to do a harmonica was trying to do the most dramatic, touching rendition of a harmonica song. But he'd never seen a harmonica in his life.
It's blowing it.
I have to play some of it. I'm probably get copyright claimed. Okay, I'll put it here if I can. Oh my God, just awful.
It was.
It was
Awful.
very, it was
I was
very odd.
I was very distracted. I was like, "What is this? Well, it's supposed to be like a badass fight scene or whatever." I'm just
Yeah.
like
So
more into the music.
obvious,
Like, what?
obviously, when Frank Grillo kills himself to close the gate, the son is like, "No, don't do it yet. Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm pissed." So we go back down. Everybody's dead already, right? They apparently the guys at the mall, the fucking cheap cosplay costumes, were able to hold off an alien invasion, right? Themselves. But the main alien Metal Cthulhu guy gets up, and the son's like, "I'm not having any of that." And he goes over there and he,
I was like,
he
"I'm so
punches him.
sorry." Just picks him
Just
up.
punches him. He tries to do this.
Stabs
They try
him.
to do a brutal scene like from Braveheart, where like fucking Mel Gibson is
Well,
like
while
ripping
you're
that guy
doing
to pieces.
Go ahead.
So
do
he
it.
goes over
No,
and
go
grabs
ahead,
a
do
knife.
Do your action scenes. Go ahead.
We're making
That was
this
the scene.
way cooler and funnier than it really is, honestly. So that was the scene. So he kills the guy with a knife, and it's like, well, shit, if a random guy off the street can kill the aliens, then the
Worse-
alien invasion wouldn't have worked anyway, because it's like, and this whole thing, where's the fucking military? It's like, this is not even the military. This is like a black ops operation that they're just sending 2 or 3 people to handle this alien invasion.
because the government didn't sanction, killing the entire race. No, did you catch the line at the very end of the movie that the aliens officially surrendered?
Yes, I
Yeah.
wrote that here because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Aliens agree to surrender somehow.
Half of the remaining members of the alien civilization have today agreed to a total and unconditional surrender.
Is what I wrote. But the gate is gone. There's no way to communicate with them.
The
And
aliens
there's
are all
no
dead.
way- The aliens are all
Send a
fucking
pigeon.
dead.
The end.
Yeah.
So then the son and the scientist babe get together, and all this is done without the army's involvement, which just makes no sense. And anyways, terrible pacing, guys. Scene to scene with no real framework, rhyme, or reason. Let's go to our final verdict.
Final verdict for me is going to be a 2. I didn't like any of the actors. The dialogue was terrible. The editing was trash. The music was trash. Everything about this is
Bruce
super-
Willis showed up and
I'm-
did nothing.
I'm the only positive about this movie is it's forgettable, and I'm gonna forget about this movie. That's the only positive for me. Like his acting, Bruce Willis, like I said before, his acting just phoned in. He's just like there for the paycheck.
Yep.
Frank, I don't know what the fuck Frank was doing.
Yeah.
Out in goddamn space.
So Frank Joe, a lot of people don't know this. Frank is huge in international markets. Like Frank,
he does a lot of action
so
movies.
here's one. Here's one movie that you should watch instead of this. It's called Beyond Skyline. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen bits of it, and it is basically what this movie wanted to be. With Tony Jaa is in it too, and there's motherfucking kung fu with aliens.
Yeah, and the premise of this was pretty stupid.
But this one was kung fu, not sword fu, because there was no jujitsu in jujitsu.
No, there was.
But let's watch Beyond Skyline, and that shit is hopefully better than this.
We'll
it will
see.
be, but
We'll
there's
see
nothing
about
that can be worse than this.
I don't. We'll see, but. There's no threat. The Martians were dumb as fuck. You can just kill them with a fucking. You punch them, stab them, whatever.
They're not Martians.
Well, even Ghost of Mars is like, oh, you kill them, they'll just go to a different vessel or something. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of scary. You don't know who they're gonna. Never. Well, that was better already.
Is that your favorite film, Joe?
No, it's not.
Okay,
but it was better than this one.
It was better than this one. So 2 out of 10.
Yeah. No.
Alex.
Yeah. The writing, the dialogue, the acting, the scenes. The props, the music, the editing, the writing, the dialogue, the acting, all bad. All of it's bad.
Okay.
And it was all well below average. Now, it is a movie, right? It did have a beginning, and it ended, and you can purchase it, and so it worked, right? So it's going to get a little bit higher than a 1, right?
No. You misunderstand. Well, that's your 1.
Yeah,
so
it gets a little higher than like the 0 and the 1, right? You should definitely not watch this movie. It doesn't even have the humor that something like Jiu-Jitsu would. Like, Jiu-Jitsu is a bad movie, but there's some funny bits about it. The tone is appropriate. Like, it knows it's a fucking weird Nicolas Cage Jiu-Jitsu movie. This is trying to be serious.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's not... it's a 2.
So
it is
horribly.
bad. And you can just tell that they're like, Frank, we need you for 2 days. Bruce, we need you for 2 days. We'll give you a full paycheck.
And I can tell.
No recuts, no reshoots. You do one scene and that's it. And there's so many awkward times where, Bruce Willis isn't like the greatest actor of our generation, but he's way more competent than he put in this movie that we've seen in the past.
And even at his level where he's not putting in anything, he's like leagues above everyone else in the film.
Yeah. So it gets a 2 from me.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys are giving this a 2. It is
so
a fucking 1.
I had so many questions.
There's nothing. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen. It is clearly the worst film of 2021. I need y'all to justify your 2. I went and then I was like, this is so bad. I have to go on Rotten Tomatoes. It had a 99% audience score from 250 plus ratings. I'm like, they fucking botted it. This is motherfucking bots.
No way.
And I guarantee you, Corey Large and motherfucking Edward John Drake hired those bots to raise that score. But here's the tomato meter from the critics: 6.
Oh, it had a 1 earlier today.
6%. It was 7 at 2 in the morning last night, but now it's 6. This is awful, just awful. One of the worst things I've ever seen. So don't spend your money unless you're trying to hurt yourself. And you want to see how hurtful and how cringy and how awful it is and how huge of a waste of a time it is, but don't blame us because we're trying to save you that money. Take that money and use it on something like Beyond Skyline, which I think might actually be free on Amazon with Amazon Prime. But a film like that, or, now I'm curious about Breach because a lot of the same people are fucking involved in that. Hey, don't you fucking talk to me that way, Joe. I'm gonna make you fucking. You know what we do? There's not a lot of movies right now, Joe. Don't fuck with me.
There are a lot of
Don't
movies.
fuck with me. Well, it's coming. Justice League.
Justice League, King Kong. We got a lot of big movies coming up. We don't have time for any of that shit, right, Joe? We don't have any time for that shit.
No, you're lucky because it's cutting off now, and I wanted to get this in there, but. If I do Breach, I'll do it on my own. I don't need you guys for that. But thank you guys for watching. This was just
the old man
the
was
worst,
highlight.
the worst film of 2021, and in a weird way, that's kind of fascinating. And it's got Bruce Willis, and I looked at some of his recent credits. He's been doing films like this for a while. Poor guy. I don't know if he burned through all his money.
Poor guy. He's just probably just like, you want me for 2 days? You're going to give me $1 million for 2 days? And I only
there's no way they fucking gave this guy $1 million for this. They didn't have that fucking kind of budget. Maybe they did. Maybe that guy. See, that's what I'm saying. His drinking
Some-
buddy is probably just a rich guy, and he's like, I want to make a movie with Bruce Willis.
Some of the
This is
CGI
what
looked pretty
happens.
good.
Yeah, but anybody can do good CGI these days. Anybody can do good CGI. That's why it's so embarrassing that you don't have, when you see films that have bad CGI, like the B films that you do, that.
It costs money, man.
Ginger Dead Man was a masterpiece.
Anyways, Cosmic Sin was a fucking
Sin.
galactic cosmic sin. Yes. Appropriate title. We'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe show. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.